Let's cut right to the chase. Creative people are pretty nuts, and I know this because I'm one of them. If you're like me, you wonder, how do people get over the issues we face? That's what this show is all about. Think of each episode as a warm bath for the soul. We're all in this together, so let's do something good with the time we have left. This show is my love letter to the human condition. This, my friends, is Sentimental Illness.
This, my friends, Sentimental Illness. All right, guys, how you doing today? What was that? All right, so I'm going to disclaim a few things, as I always do. I have a cold. It's not going well. I am stressed to the max. I'm recording a new audiobook right now, and normally that would be something I would actually kind of brag about, but I have been going through the ringer with this mostly yesterday, to be honest. I had one of those days where nothing went right. If anybody watched the live stream of my interview yesterday, I talked with a great musician from Los Angeles, Max Shami, and all we had was chaos. Audio broke up constantly, Wi-Fi issues, children screaming. It was an absolute nightmare. And then the audio files didn't upload, and so it was absolutely a waste of time, which is a super bummer because he's a great guy. Then I'm recording a book, and I'm working. Spent the next, 7 hours on that, which is way too much when you're recording an audiobook. You should normally do 3 or 4 hours, kind of a max for the day, unless you're some people, which I'm not those people. And needless to say, I finished my recordings, I started my editing, and the files died. The audio workstation decided it wanted to die on me in the middle of the processing, and it didn't autosave, and I literally wasted an entire day, and it was really, really a bummer. And it actually kept me up so late last night that I'm super stressed. And I know I got to do it all over again today, which I know, complaints. It's like, how can you complain about doing audio work for a living when so many people around the world are suffering, right? So it is what it is. All right, guys. So, hey, excuse me, I'm going to cough. All right. I got a great band here today. A couple guys calling in all the way from freaking Saudi Arabia, man. That's freaking rad. I've never had a band on from that part of the world. So I am very, very excited about it. I have a great relationship with a PR company in Canada, Asher Media. And John is one of those people that always seems to send me the right thing at the right time, the coolest stuff. He knows my taste, that helps. But because I'm what I would call a world music listener, I'm open to everything. Needless to say, this great band called Dune showed up in my inbox, and I am so glad that John sent it to me because I got two of the guys on today. And I'm probably going to make an absolute fool of myself, but I'm going to try really hard not to. The band is not, I don't think, I should say, maybe I should preface this by saying I could be completely wrong, so I should probably ask the guys. But I don't think they're basing the name on like the movie or the book or anything like that. They just are, they're from Saudi Arabia, man. There's dunes there, right? They're laughing. I can see them in the distance. They're laughing right now. Music from the other side of the world is what I'm always drawn to, because that music seeks to inspire in a different way. And I know that sounds a little odd, but let me explain. When you're not from America, see, America, man, we're so self-absorbed here. We're so lost in what we do. We think everything we do matters, and all we care about is how much we can influence others, and we're raised to sort of think that way. So when I find music from other parts of the world, even Europe, it doesn't matter, just anything outside the United States, artists, musicians, creatives, they think differently. They think about what they're doing and what they're trying to say, which is what all artists do, but they're not necessarily thinking of it from a get to this sort of celebrity level that Americans are obsessed with. It really is about that art. And that's what I find fantastic. So I heard the new album, I've heard the music that John sent me, and I love the distinctness of it, the tones and the rhythms. So here we are. We're going to do something because this band stands out. So I'm going to bring them on because we want to make sure we give them the time they deserve, and because I'm not feeling good. So rock and roll America, here we go. All right, I'm going to bring him to the stage. This is my boys from Dune, Samer and Mamdoh. Guys, welcome to Sentimental.
Hi.
How are you guys?
We're good. We're good.
Good. Excellent, man. I'm so guys. See, I'm already lost.
Yeah, that's okay.
Good start.
I'm not going to edit that out either. I'm going to leave it alone. I am so glad you're here. It's so nice to meet you guys. And what I said before is true. I love what I've heard. It's sort of my job to say that, but it's really true. I really, really dig the new music, and I can tell from our little pre-show conversation that I think we're gonna get along just fine. Would you agree?
Our pleasure. Yeah, we agree, and it is really our pleasure to join you on this call, and to have this interview and to have our talk.
Yeah, thanks, Mamdoh. I appreciate that. So to make things easier, because we have a couple of different people on the line today, I'll do my best to ask you individually versus a group sort of question. That way, we don't have a lot of crosstalk and we just enjoy the conversation. We can hear two different takes, the bass player and the singer takes, so we can hear how much they love to give each other crap. How's that?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. I would love to. Yeah.
Very good.
Good. So let's talk about something really stupid here.
And now, conversation starters.
All right. So world records are a strange thing to me. And in America, I tend to throw the country under the bus a bit because we do a lot of silly things here. We seem to be obsessed with silly things. And I thought that, your music is for real. It is serious. You're a legitimate band. But why not start the show today with something completely insane and silly for the sake of silliness? So I wanted to tell you that there is a woman in Texas, okay, that just won the Guinness World Record title of having the largest tongue in the world.
Oh, wow.
And her tongue is 3.1 inches across.
Wow.
Which is insane. I can't show you a photo at the moment, and a listening audience can only imagine the disgusting nature of a 3.1 inch tongue. But she also has a monstrously huge mouth. So it makes sense. But her tongue is actually wider than it is long.
Okay.
I know you guys are literally like, why did I come on this show to talk about a woman's tongue?
Exactly.
This is what we do. But I just think it's the weirdest thing that we are obsessed, and maybe this is where it is everywhere, but we are obsessed with having silly things to count as being significant, right? This idea of having a world record for being the person that can balance the most quarters on the tip of your nose or something like that. World culture is a weird thing, and the obsessiveness of focusing on things that only you can do to the point that you think you're somehow special because you can do a weird thing is kind of strange to me.
Is that what you're talking about?
Yes, thank you. All right. So Samer just dropped a photo up, and you can see this just big fat tongue sticking out of this woman's giant mouth.
I don't know if it's clear or not, but
It's not, but I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think.
Look
I
at how
think
big.
now.
Okay, it's clear now.
There it is. I mean, it looks fake. It looks like she's holding a piece of meat in her mouth.
Yes.
It's disgusting.
I agree.
I don't know why I don't know why I brought this up today. I just thought it was
It's okay. It's okay. Actually, I wanted to visualize that as well for the audience.
Yes. Well, just imagine it looks like a fake tongue. It does. It looks fake. It's so absurd. Staggering stuff. Anyway, super gross.
Maybe we can write a song about that tongue, actually.
maybe. So look, let's just jump into the things that matter. I just couldn't resist, I just couldn't resist.
And now it's time for self-diagnosis.
We're going straight to the guts here, guys. So first things first, want to talk about the band. I think that's important. As much as I like to focus on the curiosities of the human experience, I have a band here in front of me, and it's really important that we make sure we promote the right things at the right time. So that being said, what I would love to hear from you guys, I'll throw Mamdoh under the bus for a second and say we're going to ask Samer to give the origin story, but tell us a little bit about the early years of Samer, and how did you get this band thing going? Did you start it, or did people come to you and ask you to sing?
No, actually, for Dune, I started Dune.
Nice.
Me and the guys, actually, it's not only me who started Dune, but I used to have another band when I used to be in the college in Jordan, and they asked me to sing.
Wow.
But when it comes to Dune, we were all like 4 guys, and we decided to create Dune.
That's fantastic. Was it easy? Did you know each other from college or high school or childhood? How did you connect?
Yeah, the drummer was my cousin.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yes, and the guitarist, I know him from college. Actually, not my college, the college of my cousin. So 3 of us.
Yeah.
Regarding Mamdoh, actually, we.
We're gonna mock him right now. Come on, go for it, buddy. Go ahead.
I'm waiting for the story because it is an interesting story, actually.
Yeah, actually, we bought him from the supermarket.
Oh my goodness! Where did you find? Did you find him in the meat aisle though? That's what I want to know.
Actually, in the supermarket, there was like a bulletin board where you can advertise about you have a cat that you want to give for adoption, or you have something to sell, or you have a bassist to buy.
Yeah.
So we found that bassist, and we contacted him. Wow. And we bought him.
Nice. Is this true, Mamdoh? Did they actually find you on a poster board?
Exactly. I was adopted actually by the guys.
Nice.
So there was, on the board, in supermarkets, as Samer mentioned, when you put ads and stuff like that. That was the beginning of when I was learning actually to play bass. So I was trying to learn. Then I just put an ad asking if there is a music teacher or something to contact me, and Samer actually saw that ad, and they were looking for a bassist. So they called me, and he was like, "Hey man, yeah, look, I play guitar. I don't play bass, but I can teach you." So I was like, "Oh, okay, that's awesome. Let's meet up." And actually, his intention, he wasn't planning, to teach me or to show me how to play. So
right.
They were just looking for a bassist, so he thought it's a good chance. So while we were talking, he asked, what kind of music do you listen to? So when I told him that actually I listen to metal music, his reaction was, "Oh, that's amazing, man! We have to meet and all of that." And so I met him, and I met with the rest of the guys, and we took it from there, and I joined the band.
That's fantastic. How long has the band been together?
Well, it's been since I think 2004. Actually, we started the band in 2004. Yeah. But it was, on and off. So we started in 2004, up to 2006, 2007, around that time. Then, to be honest, the band just, went in hiatus from that time until 2021, 2022. Between that time, we came back, but with some changes. Our guitarist, unfortunately, he left, to another city. Our drummer, actually, he moved to the States. He's in the States now. So we have
really,
yeah, exactly. So we have got a new drummer, which is our current drummer. His name is Mustafa, and our current guitarist, his name is Abdurrahman Ghazali. And we kicked it off from there. We came back and still kicking ass.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Yep. So you guys are in Riyadh, correct? And that's how you pronounce it, right? Riyadh. I mean, Americans, that's what we say.
Perfect. It is. Yeah.
Okay. I know I'm going to ask you a dumb question, but I have to ask this. I mean, I know why stop now, right? But
we talk about the tongue, so you can talk about anything else.
That's right. It's late evening there, so you're literally halfway around the world, which is super cool. When it comes to Saudi Arabia, all I know, and I would think that most of my listeners, all they would know is that it's, they think of desert, they think of oil, they think of wealth, but what they're thinking of is Dubai. And I'm curious, I don't know anything about Riyadh. Can you kind of give a 30,000 foot view of what that city is like? What's it like to grow up there, or what's it like to live there? Because it's just so foreign to us here,
Right.
Do you mind sharing a little bit of that, Mamdoh?
Okay. Actually, Riyadh is a very interesting city, to be honest. And as you mentioned, it's all about perspective. That foreigners usually from outside Saudi, when you think about Riyadh, oil, as you mentioned, oil, desert, palm trees, that's camels. That's all what you would think about. But to be honest, Riyadh actually is a very advanced city, and it has a mix of everything. So it is really, technologically very advanced. It is actually very green, by the way. Mm-hmm. It is really green and all of that. And it is a very advanced even, the technology, buildings, skyscrapers. As you mentioned, you mentioned Dubai also. It is very similar to Dubai, by the way.
Okay.
But at the same time, the cultural part of Saudi Arabia, it is very important, and it is there. So we are the kind of people who are very modern, but at the same time holding the culture and very tight with our culture.
Yeah. It's a really fascinating culture to me. Again, I've never been there, but it's so, to me, my brain tells me it's, in a lot of ways, it's very much opposite to what I would experience in American culture, because your culture is old, right? And I don't mean that in a negative way. What I mean is there's a lot of history. There's a lot of tradition, and again, culturally, stylistically, music, dress, food, attitudes are literally a flip from, I think, what we experience here. Do you feel, because you're Saudi, I imagine you love it because you grew up there, but do you think about going to other places? Do you think about living in other places, or are you happy? Are you satisfied with your life in Saudi?
To be honest, even the concept of that Saudi is really different, and Riyadh, the atmosphere of Riyadh being very different. To be honest, most foreigners, once they visit, they get really shocked, of how much similarities actually between all cultures, and even between Saudis and other nationalities and all of that. Maybe the only difference is we can say maybe in the cultural side, maybe in the religion side, and all of that. But at the end, it's all the same.
People.
Even you will exactly. So. To be honest, thinking about moving from Saudi, it's not even a choice, because even the changes that is happening in the country, I'm sure that you guys hear about all of the changes that is happening with the vision even of the country and all of that, Vision 2030. Things really went to the next level, to be honest here. Having concert. Dude, we saw Metallica last year.
That's
here
awesome.
in Riyadh. Who would have thought? Literally, who would have thought?
Yeah. Well, I think what happens Americans, we conflate, we stick a whole bunch of ideas together and we think it applies to everything. I know I sound so negative on America. I'm not, but it has changed so much since I was a young man. See, for me, the reason I ask that question is because I very much would like to move out of the United States. Because politics here, I don't want to talk about politics, but because politics here have, in a sense, taken over the best parts of America, and I feel like we've lost our country to bitterness and division, and I think we want that. I think we secretly want that. We say we don't. We say we hate this, but we actually like being tribal. We like the idea of blue and red separation. We do. We like it because we want, at least in America, we want our side, whatever that means, to be right. And for me, my thinking is very much like yours. It is about the experience of the human condition. We are all in this together. And that's what's cool, man. Going to different countries and seeing amazing things and eating their food and learning the language and learning the culture and making mistakes and people laughing at it because you don't understand that you don't use your left hand for things, or right, like what people do, like what happens in Pakistan and India. They talk about the left hand and right hand, what you eat with, what you use for dirty things, whatever you want to call it.
Right.
And I think that's what makes humanity interesting. So I don't want to live in a bottled culture, and I feel like America is really bottled up now. So that's why I asked the question. I'm sorry for rambling, but when you said your drummer moved to America, I thought, why?
Right.
Oh my. Okay. Well, enough of that. No politics here. I promised you guys no politics.
Yes, but it's always greener on the other side. So that's why he went there. Yeah.
It is. But the thing I've discovered, that we all discover, is when the grass is greener, that usually means there's more dog shit in it. You know what I mean? That it's greener because it's peppered with crap. It just seems different, and that's exciting.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Wow.
Maybe you can visit one day, actually. So
I would love to. If we get to know each other really well today, we'll definitely stay in touch, and and
that would be awesome, actually. Yeah.
I think that's the best part about doing this is I get to meet so many cool people from all over the world.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Well, actually, what you have mentioned is also interesting because for example, myself, when you mentioned Texas. Regarding that tongue, but I'm talking about when you talk about Texas, the first thing that comes in my mind, the desert, the cactus, everything. But I'm sure it's not the same. It's not like that. It's a city, and it's not a city. I mean, it's a whole state.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
I can tell you from experience that Texas doesn't really have cactus. I mean, it does, but it doesn't. But what it does have is cities and then giant stretches of land that are either large farms or undeveloped areas, mountains, high plateaus. It's a very, very quirky state because it's so large. I don't know actually how many square kilometers it is compared to something like Saudi Arabia, but it is a large state. It's bigger than a lot of countries, and
Oh, yeah.
so it takes a whole day. If you're driving, it takes an entire day to drive across it, as in 20 hours. It takes a really long time to drive across it because it's so big.
Yeah, actually, it's the same case here. For example, like Riyadh, it's a huge city, but when you would like to travel to another city, for example, the nearest big city to us is like 4 hour driving.
Mm-hmm.
But in between, it's all desert. It's all you can see camels
Yeah.
sometimes.
See, I would love
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, but you will be lucky if you did not hit one on the way. But and that's from the east side. From the west side, I would say you may drive for the large city, maybe 10 hours driving.
Okay. Okay.
Yes, in between, you can see few small towns and a lot of undeveloped areas. So it's a bit similar, I guess.
Yeah. 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 America, I mean, it's not as big as people think it is, but it's also bigger in a way, meaning if you decide to drive across the country, it takes a really long time, days, but it also only takes 4 days, right? It's not the size of, the continent of Africa, for example.
Right.
It's a lot smaller. But it is
Yeah.
diverse, and that's what I love about it. You have, like, where I live, it's very, very, very green, sort of famously green and famous for rain. But the South, has the hottest deserts in the world outside of where, you're from. And then on the East Coast, it's hot and humid and lots of green again. And then the Northeast is where, the early settlers came to the States. So it's the oldest part of the country. But,
Right.
our country's only 250 years old, man. I mean, we're still sucking our thumb here.
And to add, Rob, even for Saudi, now on the perspective, as you mentioned in the beginning, that when you think about Saudi, you think about desert, but actually, it's not all desert.
Yeah.
Because in the middle, which is where is Riyadh and all of that, that is actually desert dunes, and all of that.
Right.
But actually, like the north side, it's all mountains. It's very cold. Actually, it can snow there. By the way,
Wow.
while the south area, it's very green, green as really green. Raining all the time. So it's very diverse here. It's very diverse. But it's all, as you mentioned, it's all about perspective.
Yeah.
And, the stereotype usually that we have in the, media and everywhere. As Samer mentioned about Texas, actually.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think that's the reality of life in this new world. We're all caught up in stereotype and we make assumptions that are absolutely incorrect, right?
Right.
Okay, so Samer, I want to know when you in a sense started, or with your bandmates started Dune, but was music always the thing for you? Were you always obsessed with it? Was your imagination to eventually start a band someday, or did it sort of happen accidentally?
Well, with Dune, it was on purpose.
Okay.
Before Dune, it was accidentally, actually. We had another band called Symmetrium when I was in Jordan.
Right.
They were looking for someone, and also I used to sing only clean singing. I was not doing what I'm doing right now.
Right.
And I met the guys. They said, "Okay, you're good in clean, but we don't want that. We want something harsh.
Yeah.
So I practiced a little bit, and I've done some experiments until I came up with that voice. And at that time, they told me, "You're hired. Now you're hired."
It's a good voice, man. It's a really good
Thank
voice.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm
Yeah.
glad they decided on you. That's nice of them.
Yes, yes. After I came here back to Saudi Arabia,
Mhm.
I felt like, like a bird, imprisoned bird that used to fly but unable to fly. So
Hmm.
I wanted to have a band. So
Yeah.
yes, so that's why we gathered again. We adopted Mamdoh from the supermarket, so we can have Dune. Yeah.
He was on a stand right next to the watermelon.
Exactly.
Just 89 cents a pound. 89 cents a pound.
Exactly. Get a
Yeah,
watermelon and a bassist with it for free.
yeah. Actually, he was for free. That was the best thing ever.
Oh my goodness. Okay. We're being mean, but it's fun. Well, so does the band write as a team? Does somebody bring in the material and then you figure it out together? How does the development of music happen within your band? I'll ask you again, Samer.
Yeah. Well, actually, it starts with an idea from someone.
Okay.
It could be Mamdo, it could be the guitarist, it could be myself.
Mm-hmm.
Then two work together, like, for example, the bassist and the guitarist, or the vocalist and the guitarist, or sometimes the guitarist comes and listen to this, and we build on it. So usually it starts with one member who brings it up, then we build it up together.
Right. So do you feel that your life experiences color your music? So I guess what I'm trying to say is as you write material, is it about the things that you're experiencing in living in Saudi? Is it about what you see happening in the world? I mean, I'm trying to build towards the new record.
Well, well, it's a mixture.
Yeah.
Yes. For example, our EP consists from four songs, four
Yes.
tracks.
Year of Chains.
Yes,
Or Years of Chains. Sorry.
Yes, Years of Chains. And the Years of Chains, actually, it's about the title itself. It reflects Dune itself, our band.
Okay.
We were struggling first to come up with a band, and also the people at that time. The metal music was not very popular at that time.
Right.
We were struggling, to have the attention of people, finding a place to practice, finding audience as well. And now we finally came out of that. So when we look back, we feel that we were like chained. We spent a lot of years, we were chained. That's why we called it Years of Chains.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the back to the tracks, what they are talking about, like we have Refuge. It's talking about demon possession. Okay, someone is possessed, and
that's fun.
Yeah, and people, they were thinking that he was sick, like he was physically sick, like health wise, and he was struggling, and nobody believed him, and that's what's the story about. Yeah.
Okay.
And the end of it, you can hear like there's a growling saying, "Now you're mine." Yeah. So that one is when the demon finally took over.
Yeah. Do you so I'm gonna ask a question that sounds silly, but I'm actually quite serious
No,
about.
go ahead.
Do you believe in demon possession?
Yes, of course.
Okay. Well, a lot of people don't. I do. I certainly do. And it's often I'm found, and look, I'm not a doctor. I'm gonna make some people really mad, I'm sure. But I do believe that almost all things that are what I call mental health based. I'm not saying it's all demonic possession. That's not what I mean. But I am saying that I think it gets mixed, meaning there are physical things that happen to some people, and that there are spiritual things that happen to some people. And what happens is science says we can't explain the spiritual, so I'm just going to push it over here. I don't believe it actually happens. But I think it's a combination. I think you have things that happen because of our choices or our experiences, abuse maybe, or born with defect in our physical nature. But then there's this other side that is terrifying because there is something dark at play controlling the situation because it can. Does that make sense?
Yeah, actually, as I mentioned, I believe in that. Actually,
Yeah.
it makes a lot of sense, but it's not like what we are seeing in the movies. By the way, it's
No.
the face will not change; they will not flip, and I don't know, they float. And no,
Right.
it's not. It's not like that.
Right. Yeah. Do you have so I'm trying to be careful here without going down too deep or frustrating a road like religion or politics, but within your culture, like in America, it's so silly because they say all the time, this is a Christian nation. It's not a Christian nation. It's a nation that has Christians in it, a lot of Christians, but there's a lot of Muslim, there's a lot of Hindu, it's a melting
it's a mixed
pot
culture. Yeah,
right, different. In your culture, do you find that people don't look at the old ways and say that's real? That they've skipped past it, or or does everybody, in a sense, follow the same line of thinking through? Because I know that isn't Saudi Arabia basically a theocracy? Isn't it sort of built around Muslim, the Muslim beliefs? That is what Saudi is. Yes.
Yes. It is. It is based on Islam, but I would say the people, they vary when it comes to how religious they are.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them, just like what you mentioned, they are just like the old days. They are still, holding on the old beliefs and everything. And some people, they are balanced, and some of them, we have some liberal people, we have some atheists. Sometimes, every now and then, we can see some here and there.
Mm-hmm.
There are not so many, but
right,
there are. Yeah, so it's mixed. Each family, when you go, you can see the variety of the level of how religious they are or what they are believing in.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but the whole umbrella, yes, it is Islam. Yeah.
Right. Well, the reason I ask is because I don't even want to say American culture. From my perspective, I am probably very, very uneducated when it comes to that sort of thing in regards to a location, right? The idea of theocracy, the idea that a country, in a sense, says we are a nation of Islamic believers, with a few exceptions. But as an outsider, everything that I've seen, and probably wrong, is that if you don't have that belief or you say something against it, that it could be really bad for you. And so I wonder how atheists or liberal people survive in a country like Saudi.
It's not about that. It's
Educate me.
Yeah, I believe anywhere you go, you should respect the culture
I agree.
What they are believing in, regardless if it's about Islam, if it's about religion, if about culture itself. If you went anywhere else, for example, if you went to I don't know what's the
Japan. They have Buddhism, right? And
Buddhism.
and Shinto.
Yes, and you made fun of the of Buddha himself. You'll be in a trouble.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
For sure.
Yes. So it's whenever you go, anyone should respect the culture, respect what people they are believing in, and you will be fine.
Yeah, yeah. You're right. I guess that's probably a silly question for me to ask, but yeah, when I go to, my wife is Japanese, and so when I go to Japan, I love going to the temples. And I'm not Buddhist, I'm not Shinto. So, you have different types of religions that populate the nation, but I'd go there because they're beautiful places and they're fascinating. I'm not there to worship, but I am there to enjoy the experience and to see the
Exactly.
people.
Yes.
Yes, yes. All right, I'll shut up then.
Yeah. Yeah. We do the same. We do the same actually when we go to a Christian country. We go to the church.
Yeah,
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 because it's something interesting for us. We are not used to see churches, so
that's
whenever
right.
we go, yeah, because it's as you mentioned, it's fascinating. Even it's not your religion, you feel
Right.
that there is some interesting vibe when you are there. You
Yes, you
feel
feel a
that, yeah,
connection.
yeah, you feel a connection. You feel the spiritually. I don't know. I messed up that word. How spiritual this place is.
Yes. Yeah, that's a great way to think of it. It's funny though. I don't know if this happens to you, but it does happen to me. I go into certain places and I feel a vibe in the air that I don't like, and I'll go like, oh, like there's a natural reaction for me to feel uncomfortable. Not so much when I'm disagreeing with like a religious thing. That's not it. But like in America, we have what they call new age bookstores. Okay. And I am not a new age person. That's basically what they think of as just hyper spiritual, but for the sake of, it's very self-serving spiritualism. And I'm sorry, I'm going to alienate some people here, but that tends to be what it is. And if I go into a new age bookstore, I feel like it's demonic. I do. I'm telling you, I experience a feeling of overwhelm and almost fear. It makes me very uncomfortable. And yeah, I don't know why I'm telling you that, but it does happen to me. I don't know. It's not a question. It's just a comment.
Nah,
It's
that's cool.
okay. It's a safe. It's a safe.
Yeah, it's a safe space,
environment,
right?
Rob. It's okay.
Nobody's gonna mock me too much.
Yeah,
It's okay.
yeah. No one is going to judge you after the introduction of our meeting. So
That's right. That's right.
yeah,
That's right. They know I'm open-minded. Come on, man. I'm not some asshole. I'm a great guy.
yeah, sure you
Okay.
are. Yeah.
So Mamdo, you guys were telling me a little pre-production note. You were telling me that you guys have had some interesting experiences with gear on tour or on stage, and that you might have a story to share. Do you recall this story that I might be referring to? Because we didn't talk
Uh,
about it.
Yeah, right. I remember actually after one of our gigs, but that was, before the hiatus, which is, I would call it the first phase of Dune when we were
Okay.
kids,
Okay.
actually.
A while
Yeah,
ago. Yeah.
so,
Yeah.
exactly. So actually, we had a gig, and gigs on that time, by the way, it wasn't, like official on on stage on prepped places. It was, we used to do it in ranch, actually. We would just get, hire, rent a ranch, group of people. We just, come, hang out, just play music and have fun,
Yeah.
So I remember after that, all of us, the band, we finished the gig, we went for dinner, and all of our gear was in the car. So when we went after that, when we went to our car, we found our car, the glass broken, and someone have stolen all of our gear of the band.
Gosh.
So that was devastating. And you can
Yeah.
imagine now, we're all adults. We have our day job. We're paid well. We can manage ourselves. But on that time, we were broke.
Yeah.
So it was interesting, actually. But
Yeah.
we managed. we tried, we got new gear, slowly but surely until, as they say, yani, we stood up again. So
Yeah. Well,
Would
maybe
you
that
excuse me
forced a hiatus.
for a minute?
Pardon? What was that?
Would you excuse me for a minute? I will
Oh
be
yeah,
back
sure.
in a minute. Okay.
No worries, no worries.
Yeah.
sure.
I'll actually pull you out and I'll just chat with Mamdoh. So, so tell me then, I am curious. So for you, what does the band mean to you, Mamdoh, in the sense of like, is it I don't want to say it's not important or it's the most important. I guess what I'm trying to say is how important is the band in the sense of your identity? Like I'm the bass player for Dune, or I do this for fun. Like where's the value of the band in your world?
Okay, good question. Actually, I was talking about this with someone at work, actually.
Cool.
So, just to let you know, I'm a banker, actually. I'm a corporate banker.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. So, usually people, who works in banks or any career, I would say that they read about it, outside even work, they just educate themselves about it and all of that. For me, I don't. To be
Yeah.
honest, banking is just a job. I always say that. Banking is just how I make a living. Who am I? I look at myself as an artist, as a musician. Simple as that.
Super cool.
So who am I? I'm Dune. I'm part of Dune. And the
Yeah.
other side, which is an artist, because I do art also.
Right.
So
So
that's
yeah, no, that's fantastic. So you see yourself primarily as a creative person who happens to need to do a job to, like all of us, to pay the bills. You can't just be the guy who takes a chance on a musical project and no big deal. It'll just affect everybody.
exactly. I got kids to feed.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. No, that's fantastic. I like that. So then I guess one of the
And if I may, just to add,
yeah, please.
sorry to cut you, to interrupt,
No.
but
Okay.
just to add, even the day job, I do not mean that it's not. I'm not taking it serious, or
Of
actually,
course.
I'm very successful, and I have I had a very long career, and and I have a very high position actually, just
Yeah.
uh, and doing great. But to be honest, as I said, Yani, how do I see myself? Do I see myself as a banker? No, that's my job. I look at it as my career, my job. But what defines me? I'm an artist. So as you mentioned, as a creative person.
Yeah. Okay, so then that makes me want to ask a different question. So
Sure.
is the cost of living in Saudi really high? Like in America, we have, major metropolitan areas that are very expensive.
Right.
New York, of course, Los Angeles, of course, Chicago-ish, kind of, but definitely Seattle. And I live just east of Seattle, about 40 kilometers.
Okay.
And so the cost of living here is extraordinarily high. I think we're the third most expensive place in the nation. And, in the grand scheme of things, we probably don't hit very high, but it's a lot. It is a lot of money to live here.
Right.
You need to make about $120,000. I don't know what that would translate to your currency, but
So
to live,
multiply by
but
4
to be
usually. Yeah.
right, but to be average, just to be average here, you need to make $120,000 a year to be average. And
Right.
is it like that in Riyadh too? Is it very expensive? Because that's a lot
Um,
here. I don't know what it's like there.
right. I would say it's in the middle, maybe expensive-ish,
Mm-hmm.
not expensive, but it's not
Mm-hmm.
cheap at the same time. If you're familiar with Dubai, we're
Yes, I
a
am.
bit, cheaper than Dubai.
Right.
A bit, just a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I imagine it's like that, but I would think it's because of, and again, centers for banking, centers for oil, energy production. It would make sense that when the world relies on a region, that it relies on, I mean, that your country, your nation, your culture is going to be wealthy because of it. But it doesn't necessarily mean that everybody within the system is going to be wealthy,
True.
Right?
Right.
I mean, it's not
Yeah.
your money. It's like the kingdom's money.
Exactly. It's I would say the natural resources, of the country. Yeah.
Right.
But
But it doesn't trickle down to everybody. It's not like in certain countries in the Pacific Ocean, certain small island nations, they have like phosphorus, as that, and it's like the world's phosphorus. But everybody on the island is like a multimillionaire, but they live like they have nothing because there's nothing for them to spend the money on. You know what I mean?
okay. Right.
So,
Right. Yeah.
but it doesn't trickle down like that in Saudi, right? It's not like everybody's a millionaire.
No, you described it perfectly. Not everyone is a millionaire, and yeah.
You're like, but I am.
No, I'm not. Believe me, I'm not.
I'm a millionaire bass player.
Bro, I have a lot of loans to pay. So.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's funny. That's funny. Welcome back, Samer.
Thank you so much. Sorry, I
Hope
had to go.
everything came out okay.
Yeah. My boss called me, my wife, so I should leave everything, to obey my boss.
Well, I understand that. Well, look, I have, I mean, we could sit here and talk about this all day. I have so many questions I want to ask you. So I would love for a round 2, but I want to make sure that we get to the record really quick. I know it's already out. It came out like a couple of months ago. Is this correct?
True. Yeah.
Okay. So where can everybody get it? Is it available on like a Bandcamp page? Is it through a website? How does that work for us so we can promote it correctly?
Okay, it's actually available I would say on all of music platforms, like Apple Music, Spotify, and so and so. So it's available on all music platforms. Yeah.
Okay. Good. And it's Years of Chains by Dune.
Yeah.
Okay. So then I'm going to ask you, Samer, I want you to tell everybody. I already know the answer to this, by the way, but I want you to say it.
I think I know the question. That's okay. Where are you going with this?
Well, no. Tell us about the music. Tell us what kind of music it is. What are we going to be listening to? Because it's groovier than hell. I love it.
Yeah. Well, actually, it's a mixture between, thrash music, groove music, and a bit of new metal, because we have our bassist. He likes new metal and he's influenced by Korn. So yes. So it's just like a mixture of different genres in one style.
Yes. What were you going to say, Mamdoh? What were you thinking I was going to ask?
The name of the band. The question, I can see that you want to ask about Dune. Why did you call the band Dune?
Oh yeah, no, that was gonna be my last question. Dang it. Yeah. Right. I mean, it's like such an obvious question, but I do have to know, why did you call the band Dune? Yeah, I'll let you answer that, Mamdoh.
Okay, actually, one of the problems that we're facing now, as you would think that it's related to the movie, the book and all of that, while it had nothing to do with that. We didn't even know about the book at the time.
Yes, please make it clear, Mamdoh, please.
Exactly. So Dune, actually, there is 2 parts. Okay, as you would assume that Saudi Arabia, Dune, it makes sense. But that is not the main reason we called it. In each country, there is the slang, language and the slang words, that is being used. So usually when you call someone, how to say this, like a hooligan.
Yes.
Like a hooligan or something like that. In Saudi, we call the someone who's a hooligan or like that, we call him a Dune. This guy is a Dune. He's such a Dune,
That's awesome.
Yeah. So when we were thinking about the name, Samer?
Yeah, because it's like someone who just came from the desert. He is uncivilized. He knows nothing, and he just came from the desert. So he just a dude.
That's so cool. That I love that
Yeah.
you broke that down for me because I was just thinking, oh, it's like me calling myself trees. I live where the trees are. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that's super cool. So it's basically slang for hooligan or punk or uncivilized or like, the new kid who doesn't know anything about anything.
Exactly. So you would be
Oh.
like, dude, this guy's such a Dune, So, and it
gonna
was
use that.
actually really, exactly. It was actually really funny that we thought about the name. We were thinking about, different names and all of that.
Like
So we
Death
just
of the
throw it.
Dark. I don't know.
Exactly. So we were like, dude, let's just call it Dune. And we were thinking about it. Dune. Actually, that's funny. But in Arabic, the word Dune in Arabic, it's, I'll say it, it's tais,
How do you pronounce it?
Tais.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds like Paris, like the city. Paris.
Tais.
Dune,
No,
Paris.
with the T, it's T-E.
Oh, T.
The letter in the middle is Ain, A. But I would assume you can. It would be very hard to pronounce.
No. He can't do it. Just do it like
Paris.
James said. Like
Paris.
yeah.
Paris. Paris.
Yeah. So that's how the name. We came up with the name. It was actually like a joke, and we liked it, and we went with it. So usually, even here in Saudi, when people ask us, what's your band name? We're like, Dune. But we say it in Arabic. People, they would laugh their ass off, when they hear it. And that's really awesome. So but in English, it translates to Dune. So
yeah. Oh, that's fantastic. Well, thank you so much. I really loved meeting you guys today, and I can tell we would have such a good time. So I've got to find a way to put some extra cash together and get over there. That sounds awesome to me, to meet you guys in person. Yeah, come over and
here, yes.
People be like, "Why are you going there?" It's like, because I got friends there. I think this dumb idea that people who look like me would stand out and some bad guy would come. I mean, we're taught awful things about other places in the world. We're taught to be afraid, and I've never been that person. I've always been the guy who wanted to jump right into the middle of the culture and experience people and love and laugh and just enjoy a good meal and get to know each other. So I want that, man. I'll do it someday. I will. I promise you. I'll do it. That would be
awesome.
Someday.
We would love to have you, man. Yeah.
Yeah. Right on. Well, guys, thank you so much for being here today. I do love this new EP. I encourage everybody to get it. Again, it's Years of Chains, not Years in Chains, Years of Chains by Dune.
Yeah.
And you've heard these two awesome guys, so they're great, they're funny, they're interesting. And I'm telling you, you guys will love this record. So go out and buy it. Definitely listen to it. Definitely share it. Follow these guys on socials, and we'll make something happen with them soon. I promise you. Maybe we'll get them over here to the States, and we can actually get a little tiny tour or a festival somewhere. All right?
Yeah, sure.
Right on, guys. Well, take care of yourselves, and we'll chat soon.
Sure.
Okay, thank you. Take care.
Thank you for your time. Thank you for having us.
You betcha.
You've been listening to Sentimental Illness with Rob Leland. Our theme song, Machine, has been graciously provided by Harris Heller. Don't forget to subscribe to the show wherever you get your podcast media. You can directly support the show on Patreon as well, where you can find us at patreon.com/This is Sentimental Illness. It also helps us a lot if you rate the show online. So jump out there and give us 5 stars. And lastly, always remember, your mind will overthink everything, but your heart can never love enough. See you soon.